Good morning, traders. Welcome to OptionsTender. It's Monday, August 25th, 2025. So we're going to go through top-down analysis on SPX. Want to get this out early. I'm going to be on the road today, and I'll still be in the Discord, but I won't have time to make a video on the laptop. Maybe after the bell, sometime this evening, I can do a follow-up on there. But what we're going to be looking for this week is, first of all, at the peak, we've had a 217% GDP to market value to GDP. That's a Buffett indicator. Just absurd. That's one of the main reasons, and that's why I keep putting it up here, that I think we're at a big cross-section here. I do think this is the danger zone. That represents the zone that we're in on a monthly candle. And this goes directly with what's happening now. This week is the last week of this monthly candle. So, we may not go a whole lot of places here, forming a monthly top. So I can't expect a complete reversal at this point, this week. But we do have a possible hangman candle on the weekly, and we'll look at that. We're also going to look at some of the indicators on these indicators on down to the daily time frame, and we'll go to the 65 as well, so we could talk about the alternate scenarios here and kind of grind out what might happen today, tomorrow, for example. And just to keep on watch so we're not caught off guard, we have semiconductors this week. We're supposed to get something from the president about semiconductor tariffs, so that could shock the market. We have NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday, PCE on Friday, and also India tariffs as well, which could affect healthcare. So it's just something to keep an eye on. And our options expected move expanded. So we are expecting volatility this week. The options market is expecting. It went up from the 90s all the way up to 122 to the plus side or downside, meaning that we, it doesn't depict direction, but volatility is expanding, even though the VIX got crushed. All right. Not going to go through the structure again. We're still just looking for a top at this point. All right, let's jump into it. We have SPX. And usually we do these videos intraday. So if you want to get these videos intraday or just support the channel, it's 99 cents a month to be a supporter. So from 1929 to 2000, all the way up to where we are now, in confluence with 2008, a potential channel here. And then we're right at that point right now. So we're peaking above, but do we end up with a reversal candle? So this candle opened up around 6. If we could possibly get a graveyard. So let's look from the low, about 6,200 to where we are now. So this candle is about 250 points wide. So when I say that we're looking for a possible reversal candle, and we might not move insanely for this week, that leaves room for 200 plus points if we want to see a nice big reversal, maybe graveyard candle here, or even right to the open, which is around just under 6,300, and that's 150 points away also to get an indecision doji. Okay, so if we're going to get some sort of reversal, we're going to see, 150, 200 possible points just to get a reversal candle in this. So just keep that open mind, or just keep pushing, right? That's what, you get a close like this or higher, that's going to be bullish. And let's go ahead and look at some of the moving averages. So we looked at the candle there. The moving averages, we're still holding in a bullish posture. We have an 8 EMA, which is our momentum is to the upside, and the 20s, the trend is still up. DMARC, still, we're going to see the same DMARC 4 weeks in a row. I believe it's a 3 count to the upside. No setup there. Here's our look at the MACD RSI. and slow stoke. So right now we're looking at the MACD curling back up to the upside. You had a bullish cross here. We made new highs. We're going to have to monitor this. See, we do have bearish divergence, but that will not be confirmed until we get a cross back to the downside. Now we're in overbought territory. We're in really strong conditions here. The market is strong, but again, that negative divergence from the peak here all the way up to the peak. So we have this peak with highs, lower high for this peak, and then we had a lower high here that gave us the correction. So we, in the near term, the big question is, are we going to get a correction just like this, a movement to the downside and strength, relative strength, and then a lower high with a possible new high? We don't know if that's still on the table. Can't take that away. And then we'll be looking for the slow stoke to curl over. Not to that point yet. Let's go over to the weekly. On the weekly time frame, see this nice hangman candle, which just means that we sold off a bit, and then we had buyers come in, and those buyers may get stuck there, and that's what the hangman represents. So it's still an indecision candle, which means you can get higher prices, but as soon as the candle is taken out below, that's when you can consider this a hangman candle confirmed. And so again, at 6,200, you see there's support here already. At 6,200 would be our kind of look for reversal if this is to possibly happen, and then that could be a setup for a head and shoulders pattern. So looking at the moving averages, just pushing off that 8 EMA, still momentum to the upside. We see the 20 trend indicator. This is our most important trend indicator. Okay, now I know that we've been shorting the market here. We've been looking to short the market, and we shorted it again on Friday. And because we're at resistance, we're in the resistance zone, and that's we're looking for a reversal. But if you are a more conservative trader, 8 EMA to the upside, the trend is still up. DMARC. DMARC, we're 1, 2, 3 count here, 8, no setup there. MACD. So moving to the upside, we're seeing the histogram starting to fade. I think the momentum is beginning to fade. We should see this start to curl. We do have negative divergence. Again, we had a correction already. So in the near term, do we get some sort of other divergence? Meaning that we get a significant pullback to 6,000 or less, and then a new high. All right, RSI. Now RSI in the near term, we already have that negative divergence here. With the new peak that we just got there. Okay, and slow stoke, same thing. Diverging here. But we'll look for this. This will be our early longer term signal. We cross back underneath that 80 for a sell. We don't have that yet. All right, daily time frame. On the daily, we're looking at a slight new high here. I do suspect that SPX will get that high. We did not get it on Friday, but SPY did. So that kind of leaves some unfinished business. And then it appears on a lower time frame that we have a flag pattern, and we should probably get one more high there. So after this trend breaks, that will be a big sell signal there, but we're not there yet. So looking for the reversal again this week. Here's our moving averages. Held on to that 20, pushed off the 8. So continuing to the upside. Now the divergence between the Nasdaq and SPX is pretty clear. So let's keep an eye on the Nasdaq, and we'll do that in the Discord. We're not quite yet shorting SPY again, but we did hit up QQQ on Friday for puts. All right. Sorry, I was just delaying it for that signal there. D-Mark? So we're starting a 1 count to the upside. We were looking for a count for the downside. That was negated with this big green candle. And so we're starting a new count there. Okay, so SPY already has, it's kind of the opposite of last week if you're following along with me. Last week, SPX made a new high and SPY didn't. And so you had these divergences on SPX, but you didn't on SPY yet. Now it's the opposite. So on SPY, you had this new divergence with the momentum heading to the downside and divergence here. And I suspect SPX will get the same thing with a 3 peak right here. Now we're starting with some headwinds. If you're a bear with the slow stoke heading higher, we're starting to get the crossover higher. So we'll have to monitor this to see when and if this turns down. Well, it's eventually when, but clearly it's not we're not gonna get down movement with the slow stoke heading higher. McClellan summation. So this has been a great indicator for us. We're going to get a new divergence here. We're just holding above, barely into that bull territory. We're looking for the pivot in this gray area. That will start to roll over pretty soon here. And you'll be able to tell without this indicator just who's holding up the market. Is it big tech trying to hold it up? Or we get a slight lift here because it's all the Dow Jones and small caps that are doing the work and diverging from tech. And we can throw on the McClellan, since we didn't do this Friday, McClellan oscillator. So again, this is going to that overbought territory. Do we get there? Do we diverge from this high to hit this high? Either way, we're not going to get above this peak. I don't think so. And we'll look for the divergence once again in breadth. Okay, so at this point, we will just go to the 65. And I think SPY is the best place to do that because we have our Elliott wave count set up and whatnot. So the 65, first we can do the traditional look here. I didn't think we'd get back up to this target area. It appeared that we had our top up here. Again, that was truncated. If we did have our top, that was going to be truncated because SPX got a new high here. And so now this isn't the case. With a new peak here, I do believe that this was considered an A, B, an expanded B on SPX, and then your 5-wave moved down. So that was a flat pattern. So what does this signify? All right, well, I think we could possibly make our target here at this point, a flag pattern, get up here. So what would that look like? Moving averages. Just holding above 820, trend is back to the upside. D-Mark, there's a 1 count there. We did get that 9 count sell exhaustion. We were out of this. As a matter of fact, we went long here, got out for a quick scalp, and then held on to here. We did not play this. Nobody knew there would be a huge bar like that. We did not play. We didn't want to play around with a possible lower high at that point. Here's the options expected move for upside, downside for SPY for the week, if you want to take note of that. And let's look at the near term. So I'm looking for a top here, and clearly we were looking for a lower high. That's going to reset at this point. So I can get rid of all these, and we'll use these later, because I do believe this, that was a 1-2. Now, and we'll reuse these at some point. Now, there's a couple ways you can look at this. Is this just a ending diagonal? You had a 3-wave move up for 1, 2, and a 3-wave move up for 3, crossover with 1 and 4, and then you're getting wave 5 here, and A, B, C for wave 5. I think that's the most likely scenario, but what we're going to see is some people are going to say this was all one wave. It does look like that. This is all one wave. And we pulled back for wave 2. Get rid of that. So with the more bullish scenario where we go up to higher prices. So if you want to stick into this move here and get up to this 652, that coincides with some other Fibonacci's on the higher time frame as well. We went through that on the individual members video very thoroughly. The video is really, really good if you want to. It's $4.99 a month if you want to join for the individual analysis there. So this would be a 1-2, and then we're working on wave 3, wave 4, and a wave 5 higher. So that's a more bullish scenario there. And I'm not quite in that camp there. I'm looking at this being just about completed and just a little bit higher. All right, 652 certainly could happen. It's not that far away. So we're going to begin to look for another short here pretty soon. But we're short QQQ already. All right, so that's it, you guys. We could take a quick look at the VIX. See if that's got anything going on. So we do have a little bit lower for a trend line. If we want to follow this wedge trend line there, could get down to about 14 or so, a little bit under. And we'll be looking for new highs after that. All right, thanks for watching here at OptionsTender. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.